So the reason that eccentric exercises are recommended to be done once per week is because they cause, let's say, a depth of a muscle damage that can take, frankly, some studies have shown up to 21 days to heal fully. What's happening when you do eccentric exercises, you have four different types of muscle fibers. You have your, it doesn't matter. You have four different types of muscle fibers. We won't get into the details on the four different types, but sufficient to say, or suffice to say that, like, this is, I'm oversimplifying, but you essentially have, think of it like this. You have four layers of muscle fibers. This is not literally true, but it's a helpful way to think about it. So you have, like, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. The layer at the top is a layer that doesn't generate much force, but it can do a lot. So for example, the layer on the top is what enables you to type. Your fingers are not generating a lot of force, but you can type. I mean, there are people that type for 8 hours a day, every day, and it's fine. So the muscle fibers on the top don't generate much force, and they can do a lot of work, and they recover very quickly. Now, as you get down to the deeper layer of muscle fibers, the deepest layer being called your type 2B muscle fibers, these muscle fibers generate an immense amount of force. So if you've ever heard stories about someone who, like, whatever, a car rolls over their something and they lift the car up because of adrenaline and such, or just what a power lifter or someone would be doing, or anytime you sprint and you burst, a big burst of energy all in a moment. These muscle fibers, these type 2B muscle fibers, generate an immense amount of force, but only for a very short period of time. And because they are creating so much force, they think about it like this. It's a little bit like they're pulling a fire alarm, but a healthy fire alarm in your body. It's like, holy moly, I'm getting chased by a tiger, like, whoa, big deal. And so it causes a bunch of other stuff to happen in your body. This is all healthy stuff if done at the right dose and the right intervals. But when all that happens, because these muscle fibers are so forceful, it takes them a long time to recover. It takes your body a long time to have that idea. Someone pulls the fire alarm in an office and the sprinklers start going and there's papers flying in the air and it's like, all right, it's going to take a few days to clean this up. So yeah, you definitely don't want to do that every day. Doing it once a week is plenty, because it does truly, like, at a minimum, take 1 week for damage, healthy damage, to those deeper type 2B muscle fibers to heal. Now again, please keep in mind that when we here at Sane recommend eccentric exercise, we are doing so because we have a very specific goal in mind. The goal is to help you to metabolically heal. Now, if your goal is to, for example, train for a marathon, you should absolutely not jog once per week. Jogging once per week is not an effective way to develop endurance. Our goal here at Sane is not to help you run a marathon. Our goal at Sane, that's a fine goal. It's just not what we're here to help you with. What we're here to help you with is fundamental metabolic healing. And the type of exercise that has been proven to be most effective at that fundamental metabolic healing is eccentric exercise. And eccentric exercise is so potent in terms of what it does to your muscle fibers that, just like anything in life, potency, like the more potent something is, the less of it you need. Think of eccentric exercise as the most potent form of exercise on the planet, and because of that, you need a very small dose infrequently to get best results. And just like a very potent medicine, more is not better. More is actually worse. So that's why the once per week recommendation comes into play. And it's also important to mention that there are other forms of exercise, which we're definitely not saying, hey, only move once a week. That's not at all what we're saying. What we're saying is do this very specific form of exercise known as eccentric exercise once per week. And then be as active as you can, right? That's just about being a human and enjoying your body and enjoying life. Take the stairs, walk around, play with your kids, take your dog for a walk, pedal on a stationary bike, walk. That stuff's all good. The thing that is not really helpful for metabolic healing, so if you think about eccentric exercises being on one end of the spectrum, and then like walking your dog or gardening, just like enjoyable activity being on the other end of the spectrum, there's things in the middle, like jogging on pavement, which are not effective in terms of fundamental metabolic healing and can actually be counterproductive. So we want to do a little bit of this very potent stuff, and then we want to do a lot of the enjoyable, restorative type of movement that just makes us feel good. It doesn't like drain us, if that makes sense. All right.